Mount Aspiring and Fiordland National Parks in New Zealand's rugged South Island. Home to some of the most spectacular scenery in the world. But it can be deadly. And when disaster strikes, the local police and search and rescue volunteers are the only lifeline. This time on High Country Rescue, the Wanaka search and rescue team respond to an early morning emergency.
One of the parties fallen over the bluffs. His status is unknown.
And can the team find a wounded tramper?
Some dude ringing on a black phone saying he's at McKenzie Creek, that's all he said.
Then beat darkness to rescue a climber on Mount Aspiring. At the Wanaka Search and Rescue Headquarters, Sergeant Aaron Nicholson is working on his day off.
Good, good. Can I ruin your Sunday? You're free? You want to start early today and come in and see us?
A call has just come in that a member of an 8-person tramping group is seriously injured.
We've had a report from one member who's apparently walked out. He's told us that there's a friend of theirs had a fall. They're unconscious. There's obviously a lot of anxious, worried people out there. Who'll be sitting there waiting for someone to help. So you try and say, look, if it was us out there, we'd want the cavalry to come over the hills ASAP.
The first to arrive is search and rescue volunteer Constable Mike Johnston.
They go up over through the Rainbow Stream and then come down Rift Stream. The information's a little patchy at the moment. It's high altitude stuff to a degree.
They're about at 1,000 metres in here, so they'll be somewhere in here. They've been bluffed out.
The tramper has fallen over a bluff while traversing a challenging sub-alpine route up the East Mātukituki Valley. Local climber Alan Uren completes the rescue team.
It's steep, nasty country without a track, and there's snowgrass, which is lethal when it's wet. It just becomes like a slidey snow surface. It's really, really scary. Yeah.
Mike and Alan need to take emergency medical equipment as well as a full alpine rescue kit. Before they depart, Aaron reinforces the mission.
They were descending through the bluffs. One of the parties fallen over the bluffs, and it's apparently fairly serious injured, so his status is unknown. I have told the informant to go back to Cameron Flat, and he's there waiting for the SAR team to arrive, so that you can get any further information or just confirm 100% on location. We're still not really sure what condition or what the injuries are for the tramper. We know that he's taken a fairly decent fall by all accounts, so fingers crossed there, but it doesn't sound that flash.
With the team on board, pilot Doug Maxwell's first stop is Cameron Flat, where 3 members of the tramping party are waiting to meet the team. The friends of the injured man tramped for 11 hours to raise the alarm. They have important information.
Well above the beach, it's in the tussock, like a tussock band and a shrub above it.
Their tramping companion fell 40 metres while descending a steep ridge yesterday. He now has serious head injuries. With this new information, the team follow the route walked by the trampers. Rising up the eastern face of Sisyphus Peak, Doug and Alan suddenly spot a blue tent in the tussock. For the second operation, the Wanaka rescue team need to do some detective work. It's late on a Saturday afternoon, and the local tourist information office has taken a number of phone calls from an injured tramper.
Where are you again? Can you tell me where you are? And it's your back. Okay. fallen off a rock, so he's hurt his back, so he's going to need some help.
The information is forwarded to the Wanaka police. Sergeant Aaron Nicholson starts narrowing down a possible location.
He said something, he's fallen off a rock and he's got back injuries and can't walk. So whether he's high up and he's climbing, whether he's in the creek, it's hard to say.
Alpine specialist Gary Dixon helps plan the search.
This is a remote spot. I mean, this is not, this is not easy. This is not the route burn.
G'day, Davey, Aaron Nicholson.
Aaron quickly rounds up a team.
That's it, make it happen. Good, see you here soon. Yep, cheers, bye.
If he's in McKenzie Creek, which is what he's saying, then that's not a good piece of terrain. It's quite gnarly. Standard first aid stuff, bit of oxygen helps people when they're in severe pain. A few ropey things, but nothing too, slings around boulders, belay down from rocks, trees, that sort of stuff, and get it all done before nightfall.
Joining Gary is Julian Krusty White, Dave Alderson, and team medic Davey Robinson.
Back injury, he said, is coming from a sat phone. So he definitely got an injury. Don't know how serious it is, and location's slightly more vague.
Just before the team depart, some new information comes through.
He's in mostly dark green clothing. His pack is dark green. And he says he's had a fall, and he cannot go down and he cannot go up.
The pilot for today's mission is James Ford.
There's 6 of us, and we're now at the mouth of Tamaroo Creek heading to the area as instructed.
Okay. Yeah, copy that. We have no new information,
It's been a slow trip at this rate. Well, is there anything you didn't bring, or is there a kitchen sink or something you didn't bring in there, or what? Something ringing on a phone saying it's a McKenzie Creek, that's all he said. There were hundreds of them. We came up with like 10 places that could have been.
Gary has isolated a remote subalpine tramping route, 30 minutes north of Wanaka.
Dump stuff there. We don't know whether it's above snow line or below snow line. It's supposedly fallen over a boulder or something like that.
There is no sign of Martin on the way down, so the team land to unload their equipment, making the helicopter lighter. There is only 3 hours of daylight left, so Gary makes the call to search the bush first.
And did he say he was in the bush? Or no, we haven't said. We don't know, just it's going to be a red flag, but he's sort of fallen down something.
Yeah, they've just gone out of sight into the upper basin. They've just been searching around this wee rocky knoll up to the Lookers Ride at McKenzie Creek here, which means they haven't found him so far in the creek.
Team member Dave Alderson prepares a rescue staging area, while the helicopter searches above.
If we left the full complement of equipment and people on the helicopter, we'd use up the fuel much too quickly, and that would certainly cut down the time that we have available to search and rescue the person that's given us a call on the sat phone.
Gary thinks that Martin might have taken the wrong route, so the team start walking the creek. A plan that brings immediate success. It's too dangerous to land near Martin, so one of the team will have to cross the creek. The Wanaka Search and Rescue Team are looking for an injured tramper in the East Matukituki Valley. After locating a campsite in a dangerous spot, Mike and Alan make their way up the hill through the slippery tussock. It's the trampers they are looking for. But the news isn't good. Despite efforts to revive the injured man, he never regained consciousness.
We've had news that the person who had taken a fall has actually died. That has fairly horrific impact for the people that have been with him all night.
The rescue focus now moves to helping the deceased's friends. They're flown back to Wanaka as the team prepare to recover the body.
Yep, good. We're going back in and we're going to strop out the body and their gear.
Back in Wanaka, the team take a moment to talk through the morning's events.
It's not an easy thing. I wouldn't put it casually, no, especially with a deceased person. It's sort of, yeah, it's not something that's taken that lightly.
Well, no one likes to be involved with the fatalities that we have to deal with. We deal with a few too many, really, for such a small place. It's meant to be a fun time that mates are having out in the hills, which is why they go in the first place. So, yeah, it's just a big paradigm shift to go from what they were doing to now dealing with the loss of a loved one.
The Wanaka Rescue Squad have found Martin, an injured tramper, trapped in a dangerous spot.
He's in a creek bed, but he's tucked under a bluff. You just can't land by him, it's quite steep.
The team grabs some specialist rescue gear. Then James lands the crew as close as he can. Gary has already worked out a plan of attack. Martin is wise to stay put. If he slips, the force of the water will drag him down the creek. Gary will use the large boulders as anchors for a rope that he will tie across the creek. All that remains is for Gary to get himself to the other side. He then secures the other end of the rope.
I think Gary's plan is once it's there, tighten it up.
As Gary fits Martin into a harness, Davey and Krusty rig up a belay system. The rope and pulley setup will hold Martin and Gary as they cross. With a steep creek below, a fall here will be fatal. Davey needs Martin to get close enough so he can grab one of his arms.
Right, hold on, brother.
Sorry, Martin, that's a bit rugged. Okay, relax, just a wee rest there. Come on, you hurt.
Yeah, here, my man.
Yeah. Take a fall on it, Martin.
Yeah, I did something stupid.
I'm the medic on the team. Davey's my name, sorry, Martin. Oh, yep. You've got a big hematoma.
Davey leads Martin to a place where James can hover load them into the chopper.
You can lean on me as much as you want. Just try and keep the weight off that leg, but nice and slow. Over here. Nearly there, a bit more. Yep, I'm sitting that. I got weight, Gary. It's not in the contract. I know how to walk.
Gary and Krusty guide James in. Right on the money, James lines up the door so Martin can climb aboard. In a matter of seconds, they are out of danger.
I'm fine, thank you.
Martin has had a big fall and has severe bruising on his hip.
So this is a short one. Good through here.
Yeah.
These toes okay? Wiggle them.
going somewhere. And I came out at that too quick back at the river, and I tried to get up again, but I slipped. I fell in the river and washed a little bit down, and then I could crawl again out. Oh, I was very glad that the helicopter was there. Yeah, the best guys in the world.
Back in Wanaka, a police escort waits to take Martin to the medical centre. An X-ray confirmed that Martin had fractured his pubic bone. But that wasn't his only injury.
One of his nail beds had been ripped out, which he got by, I guess, when he clawed his way out of the river. He was showing early signs of shock and stuff, so he was definitely thinking he was in a really bad place.
And he was in a piece of creek that you just wouldn't go down. Anyone in their right mind did not take the route he took.
Martin made a good decision in not trying to cross things on. I don't think he would have made it.
Every summer, mountaineers from around the world take on Mount Aspiring. But with one fatality so far this season, Wanaka Search and Rescue Coordinator Aaron Nicholson knows that his phone can ring at any time.
We've just got a job on Mount Aspiring, got a climber that's had a fall, injured leg. He's on the northwest ridge, so I've got Gary on his way, he's coming in. If you can give up your dinner for it, that'd be appreciated.
Merry Christmas, you old fuck.
Hey, nice to see you.
I hope you went through the list real well.
Well,
If you can, find 2 more people just to be on standby if it doesn't work, if something happens to us.
29-year-old injured knee.
Just the knee.
It's clear on the northwest ridge and he's just below the kangaroo, requires a strop.
Yep.
So I've got you and Al, you're in.
What time's dark?
You're talking 10 o'clock before it gets dark.
Alpine specialist Gary Dixon is in charge of the operation. He is assisted by local mountaineer Alan Uren.
I really love rescuing people because I've been rescued myself, and I reckon if you could make a rescue, the feeling of being rescued, put it on a pill, it would be totally illegal because it would be so addictive. The feeling of being rescued is insane.
He's most probably up on the top, which is a bit tricky to... And it is quite a steep little spot to be able to try and get him in a helicopter, and if there's any wind, and which there will be. So that's where it comes down to the pilot. They know how much available light they have and how far we have to fly.
With only 2 hours of daylight left, Gary and Alan quickly pack some alpine rescue gear.
Generally, if you've been mountaineering for a long time, you kind of go, well, I can pretty much deal with most things. Once it gets dark, then I'm off home.
Luckily for Gary and Alan, the rescue was phoned through by a fellow member of the search and rescue team.
The situation is we have Dave Alderson there, and he's requested specifically a helo lift from that position. Our mission obviously is to rescue the injured climber from Aspiring.
Righto, let's go.
Completing the crew is pilot Doug Maxwell. The climber they are off to rescue is 29-year-old Richard Willett from Brisbane.
We'll go to Aspiring first, see if we can suss it out and how to get to the sky.
In 15 minutes, they locate Richard amongst a group of climbers on the northwest route.
Right, let's just pull out a little bit, and let's just see how we're going to get to that spot.
But thick cloud and fading light are still major concerns. So they pick a landing site nearby to rig the strop. Gary will be attached to the strop, while Alan will man the emergency release. With precious minutes of daylight left, the goal is to get Richard off the mountain and to a waiting ambulance in Wanaka.
Okay, all good. All good, Rob. Right on. Just stay on board and don't go running around the helicopter. That'd be great, Rich. Got it.
Unfortunately, I was not paying enough attention on some slushy snow, went for a bit of a ride, went over a couple of rocks, self-arrested finally, and unfortunately I found I'd hurt my knee, and fortunately a guide rang the rescue operations, and they were there very, very quickly. Yeah, we don't want another Australian casualty here in the mountains, do we? We seem to have a fair percentage.
Oh, there's a lot of them around.
I can't fault anything. Everything was fantastic.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.